Hi guys, and welcome back to Aid's Workshop. So here we are, episode 300. When I started out on this YouTube adventure some 5 years ago, I believe, maybe a bit more, I had no expectations, and the idea of doing 300 videos was, if somebody had said that to me, I'd have thought it was insane. But anyway, here we are, the 300th episode. So, to celebrate the auspicious occasion, the green jumper is on. It does come out on high days and holidays. So what can I say? I took my 13 months off, and the welcome back that I've had has been overwhelming, guys, and just thank you so much for that. We've had, I think, 130 new subscribers. I think we're 14,600 and something now, so we're not far off that next sort of goal of 15,000, and I suppose after that it'll be 20, 25, 50, 100, who knows in the future if I live that long. Anyway, sounds a bit morbid. Right, so I had the other week when I made a fly cutter for Andre. Oh, Andre, please get in touch. I have posted it, but I haven't heard from you to know that it's arrived. So let me know in the comments that it's arrived. It was posted well over a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now. So when I put that video up and making that fly cutter, there were a couple of comments. The one comment was from Sam Roydian, who's a regular, been with me for years as a subscriber, and he said that he's actually got a 19mm shank on his fly cutter, and it gives it more rigidity, and I thought that is a really good idea. And another commenter said that there was no facility for top rake on the on the front of the leading edge of the cutting tool as it was machining, and that I could have machined an angle into the fly cutter to add that top rake. So this video I'm going to remake a new fly cutter with a larger shank and with a top rake built in, so I'll take you along with that journey. So somewhere in the middle of me making that, a rush job came in for work. You'll see that as I go along. Now I realised that I didn't actually explain what it was, so I'll do that at the end of the video. What else have we got? So oh yes, during this video I've already edited the clips together. Had a couple of occasions where the lav mics, I'm on the shotgun mic now, but where the lav mics actually died, the battery died on me, and I ended up with clips with no sound. So basically I had to teach myself to do voiceover in the video, so I've got 300 episodes, never had to do that before. But yeah, apologies for the audio problems throughout this video, but yeah, it's thrown me in that I've had to learn to do it, and I may do that a bit more moving forwards, but I need to get more proficient at it. Anyway, enjoy the video, guys. So there's two products to be seen. One, making a second fly cutter. I cut through all the repetitive stuff that was, basically on the first one, or a lot of it, cut a lot of it out. And the second one is making this metal block with a load of tapped holes in. You'll see that as well. So enjoy the video, guys. So, yeah, final cut. So, 19mm, 20mm diameter, over 30mm. Nice new tip. This should be finishing cut. Not much to see, but you can see it's cutting, and quite a finish. So I've got the lav mics on today. We'll see what the sound quality is like wearing the lav mic. So I'm not on the mic on the camera, I'm wearing a lav mic. So yeah, there was no point in me showing you turning down this diameter just to finishing cut, because it's exactly what I did on the other unit, except instead of being 12mm diameter, it's 20mm diameter, which is the maximum size I can get in a ER32 collet. The biggest collet for ER32. I think you can get specials that are bigger, but in standard form 20mm is it. So that's almost finished that cut. I'll grab the camera handheld when we finish this, and you can see there's quite some finish on there. So I set the DRO to be 30mm at the finish. We're nearly there actually. Right, if I go 30.1, I'm just going to wind that out and just put a finish on that face as well. And I'm hoping that was the finished cut. Okay, so yeah, happy with that. So let's have a look with the mic. Right, I'm gonna, yeah, can you see it? I'm gonna do that again. Right, let's do it. I can't see, right, what it's reading. So there's going to be no trickery here. 20.001. Okay, so that is the size. I think we can safely say that's 20mm and fits in that collet. Lovely. Right, so what else do I need to do? Finish on there is superb. Finish on there is superb. It's just like, yeah, that's the best finish I've had in quite some time. So there's a better piece of steel than the last piece I used. So I'm going to put a chamfer on there. I've got to be gentle because I'm holding on the... In fact, I might just put the centre in just to do this. I'm holding on the outside jaws. That'll do. And while I'm up here, I'm going to put one on the top, even though I'm going to machine the OD. And you'll notice I just slowed that down. Okay. So with that done, you know what, I might just base that front edge because it was done quite roughly when I did it originally. So let's just tidy up that face as well. Could go a bit faster than that. Anyway, right, there we are. That's the mandrel done, the bit that's going to hold in the ER32 chuck. So we'll spin it round, change the jaws round, we'll do the diameter. So flipped it round. I actually cut this off a long length of bar with the grinder. So it's not perfect, it's just cut off by hand with a grinder. So yeah, it's not dead square, so I'm just having to true it up just to get somewhere respectable first. So, need a couple more cuts and we'll be there. One more, I think. So in an effort to try and keep the surface speed correct and be nice to the tip, you'll see as I was winding in, I increased the RPM just gradually. You'll hear it, and I can slow back down again. Okay, I've no idea what length that is. Let me get a rule. I had a rule earlier. What did you do with that? 8? Never mind. Calipers will do. Oh. So how big is that? I mean, it's going to be machined off, but 33. Okay, well that's fine. Let's just put a finishing cut on here. don't know why, because it's all going to be machined off. Yeah, I don't know why I bothered with that. Let's get rid of that bit of muck that's hanging around the truck. This is very fine stuff, so I'm not going to cut myself. Yes, I should probably get the... Okay, let's got rid of that. Should probably get the grippers to do it, but I knew I wasn't going to cut myself on that. So let's have a touch off on here, just the slightest touch. Ooh, well, that was a bit bigger than the slightest touch. See if I can put a finish on the OD. It's a much nicer piece of material than what I was using when I made Andres, so I didn't have that piece of material then, or this piece of material. Yeah, finish is good. So I'll put a chamfer on that front edge just for shame's sake, so I don't cut myself when I'm handling it. And I think we can go to the mill. So, in fact, yeah, the finish is okay. So as you can see, I've set it up in a different way to the way I did Andres, and there is a reason for that, because we need to put a compound angle on it at some point. So roughing it out to the angle, virtually identical setup to last time, but instead of angling it across in the lower vise, I've held the lower vise, held this vise in the lower vise. I'll give you a broader shot in a minute, and set that vise up at the initial angle. So that will allow me to tip the part in the upper vise while maintaining that back angle. So that's where we're going to go with it. So I can put a compound angle on the end of here. So I'm taking it very gently. Just, you know, I'm taking, I think, 0.1 a pass. I'm just going back and forth until we've cleaned up this initial face to where we want it to be. So I'm using my fly cutter to make the fly cutter. So the Mark 1 fly cutter to make the Mark 2 fly cutter. So that's a better view of the setup, as you can see. Yeah, my old vise. It's still accurate. I've shown it to the wire wheel. It's stained. You know, it's had a life. But it's still accurate. You know, it did rust over in the shed here, so I've shown it the wire wheel just to get rid of the worst of it. There's more I could do. I could do more on it. In fact, it was some while back that I showed it to the wire wheel, so I probably need to do it again. But, you know, it does hold square. You know, it's still a good vise, even though it doesn't look so. It looks a bit neglected. I do need to give it some love. In fact, if I had a surface grinder, I would probably give it a refurb. But I haven't got a surface grinder, so I can't. But yeah, that's a thought one of these days. I do have some contacts who've got grinders, other tool makers, who'd probably be willing to give that a once over for me. You know, just all the outside edges. The jaws don't need doing as such. But you know, just all the outside edges, just give them a nice, give them a pretty up. Yeah, I probably should do that. Anyway, and I certainly haven't got room for a surface grinder. If I did have room, I'd certainly have one. And heat treatment and all sorts, but that's another story. Keep doing the lottery. You never know, one of these days. So, I'll keep going. Putting a cut on, going back the other way. Yeah, it won't take long. I've been on it 10 minutes on the top of this, I suppose. And I bet it's got probably another 10 minutes, but I am in no rush. It's not a paid job. Okay, finishing cut across the top. Well, it is and it isn't. It's the last cut to bring it to flat in one plane. So I put a bit of MWF on it, metalworking lubricant, metalworking fluid. I'm going to let that cutter run right across, I think, because it should cut on the other side as well. Take out the deflection. Yeah, it's just a light scratch cut across the other side, and that'll be that bit done. So I'm going to have to think now which way it's got to be angled, and do I want to angle the whole base or just the slot? I think I want to angle, I don't know, I'll have to have a think. So it took me 3 times to work it out and question myself as to which way that had to be angled. Okay, so eventually, and I actually had to take the fly cutter out the top and put it upside down so I could work out the direction, because I was like, I initially thought I got to lean it this way, away from the head, and then questioned myself, and then looked at it again and thought, no, it's the other way, and then questioned myself, but yes, I have got it in the right direction. So yeah, so we did the plane this way in X, so that plane is sort of established, but now I've got the compound plane by tipping it over. So both these angles are about 7, 8 degrees, something like that. So that'll give me, you know, this particular angle I'm doing now, without grinding the tool, will give me the equivalent of top rake. It's a work in progress, it's an experiment, but I'm looking at it now and thinking, how am I going to find the centre line when it's all on the wobble? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, finding the centre line of that's going to be fun, isn't it? I think it's going to have to be eyeballed in. I'm sure I'll find a way. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. How you would find the centre of that. I'm sure there's a way. But yeah, so we got a compound angle on the end of there, and like, where's the centre point for putting the tool in? I suppose it's still the centre of the circle, isn't it? Because the circle, the outer and machine circle, is still going to be running concentric. So I just basically need to touch off. I'm just thinking now. Yeah, it's on the... You know what? Don't think too hard, Aid. It hurts. So yeah, slowly but surely we're putting on that compound angle. I'm still thinking how I'm going to find out the centre. I think what I got to do is eyeball it, but set it off centre with a smaller cutter, with that 8mm cutter again. And then I'm going to measure the top of the slot to the edge. And that should be half what the diameter is. I think that's as close as I'm going to be able to do it without getting into complex trig here. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be close enough. What I should do is start cutting in the other direction in this way, and then it'll be flicking the swarf over the back of the mill and not all over me, which is what it's doing at the moment. So yeah, I'll let that run through, and I'll in fact, is it getting anywhere near the camera? No, we're all right. I don't want to go hitting the camera lens. We're okay. So yeah, that's probably about the center point now. But yeah, keep going. So I think just let that run out a little bit. Right there. Let's run that back the other way, and I think we're there. So that has now machined that face off with the compound angle of, like, you know, 7-8 degrees in both directions, or in two planes, from square to the shaft. Okay, so the next thing to do after I've done this cut, let this cut run out, is to put the slot in. Let's let that finish. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to be using the fly cutter for this, is take the fly cutter out and just have a look to see which side it's got to be, because I can't work it out. It's all upside down, left, right, all shapes. So yeah, if I pull this cutter out, at least I'll know which side of centre line the slot's got to be, and then we'll look at how we're going to measure it. I think I'll just run a quick deburr around the outside of that. So if I put that cutter there, pretty much tells me that the offset is going to be, the slot is this side from centre line, wherever that is. Okay, right, I'm not going to get that wrong. So what to do next? How am I going to find the centre line? Let's deburr that, and I think what I'm going to do is just measure from here, take calipers, measure that diameter, measure half it, come at this very top point and just scribe it, or on that square face with a caliper and scribe a line, and that square face and scribe a line. That should be the centre. Should be. I could be way off here, but yeah, pretty sure that is the case. Let's just take the sharp edges off. I've just grabbed a random needle file out the drawer, and I'll work my way around with this. Just take that burr off, because this is going to be in here for quite a bit longer yet, and I don't want to cut myself, and those burrs are quite nasty. They're worth throwing the back of it. I'm going to have to move the camera so I can get around this, so yeah. So 43.8, 21.9. I'm just going to take this edge, scribe a line there, 21.9, come off this top corner here. Oh, that's matched up. I have a line. That's got to be centre. So if that's centre, then the cutting edge is that way, and the angle is that way, which gives me top rake. That's going to work. Okay, so my distance there from just that tip there to the edge of the slot is going to be 21.9 millimeters, because my diameter is 43.8. 43.8. That's 21.5, 21.9. Yes, okay. I have it. So I'm going to set my cutter up, offset this way, away from that line, and then bring it in until I get a measurement from that tip at the widest point to the slot of 21.9. So I have a method. It's going to be close enough. So I've set my cutter up a good mil away from that line. I've touched off on the top, set a 0 on my quill, which is And I've just realised my camera's in the way of the table. There, that's the 0. Let's just double check. I'm going to put a cut on in a second. Everything's tight. Let's just let that run off the end. Might have to go a bit faster than that. Let's go. I'm just set 0.2. 0.2 depth. I have locked Y, so it shouldn't go moving around. And I'm away from my line. So I'll take that down to 12.7 deep. So at this point in the proceedings, guys, the microphone, the lab mic's died. So I'm doing a voiceover. Never done it before. 300 episodes in, and yeah, I'm learning something new still. So with that said, you can see from the video clip, on the left-hand side of the cutter there, you can see the angle that in relation to the circular part of the cutter. So yeah, that's the 7-degree draft I was looking for. So I'm gonna have to do audio. So yeah, bear with me with the audio, guys. So obviously here I'm measuring up where my first cut wall is in relation to the outside of the part, and I need to get that dimension right. So yeah, you know, getting that dimension based on the very top lip. What can I do next? So make the adjustment to the cut. So putting the calipers on the bed, making various hand gestures, no idea what I was saying, probably very similar to what I'm saying now. Cut the start up, let's run that next cut across. So yeah, without there being the machining sound effects, I'm going to have to talk right through this clip. So yeah, this is a climb cut. I'm not sure, you know, this is a week or two later, whether this is the final cut or not. But yeah, I'm basically going through it, run this climb cut through, adjusting it across to get that dimension right. I think that's what my hand gesture was saying. So I'm trying to get the video clip or the sound bite, as I'm recording in my kitchen here, roughly to the length of the video. I can stretch it and shorten it and, you know, speak a bit quicker or slower. That will depend on the length of the video and the sound clip I'm taking. But yeah, I'm going to carry on like this. I think there's one more clip, guys, and we'll be back to so yeah, the audio is awful, I'm sorry guys, but yeah, I mean, I'm, you know, running this cut through, finishing it off, doing what I can do with the voiceover. It's made me learn this, that you know, I need to keep an eye on my microphones as I'm going along. But you know, I'm trying my best here. This is episode 300. We're doing what we can do. I've no idea where in the video clip I'm pointing. I'm talking about that angle. You know, my finger is not close to the cutter there. We are, you know, I'm talking about I'm to depth. It's in relation to the circle. You know, all these sorts of things. So, you know, this is the way that we have to improvise. So we've got the microphone back now, so we should be good. So, yeah, that's it. It's machined across the top on the compounded angle, as we can see by the fancy setup, and that's done to depth, and the tool fits in there nicely. So you can see by the way that this face here cuts back in, that this slot is cut on an angle to the main body. But yeah, so I'm going to strip this down now. Well, in fact, I'm going to leave this in this vise and remove it from the main vise. I've got another little job I've got to fit in the meantime. But yeah, that's the plan. So a little job for work. Yeah, see how this fly cutter cuts. So 2-inch square steel stock. I am going to machine all 4 faces, flat, square. Square's not that important, but flat. So this is black mild steel, so it's got hard, nasty skin on it. So I'm having to take 0.6 mil as the first cut to get underneath it. And it's probably going to leave that piece of high-speed steel in there needing a regrind. So this isn't the new one, this is the original. Because I haven't finished the new one, I haven't put the holes in yet at the time of doing this, but this job is a priority, so we'll do this job first and then move back onto my own job. So 50 mil shell end mill. Yeah, I've quadrupled the feed rate. It's taken all the impact out. I'm not doing the full width of cut, but I probably could. I don't think that cutter will do full widths. It might. We'll see in a minute. That'll be next thing I try, I think. So that's the first face done. So yeah, it's not vitally important that this is square. Yeah, I mean, it's not, you know, doing anything. You'll see at the end what it's doing. Right, so slightest burr on there. So this far had a slight radius on it. Okay, so not that that matters. So what I'll do is I'll put that face I've just machined against the back fixed jaw. Just make sure my parallels are under, pushing back firm. Tighten up the vise. Now, that cutter I set up in the middle. Let's just make sure that's tight. I'm not going to tap it down at this stage, although it is hard on the parallels, it's heavy enough. I'm just going to start the cutter up and run that across, so it should take the same amount as I did on the last cut. As long as the bar's square, oh, not square, as long as the bar was the same dimension in both ways. So this should take, you know what, it wants more. Not cleaning up. I don't want to be scratching that skin. I'm going to go 1/2 mil deeper. Okay, that's 1/2 mil. I want to get underneath that scale, the mill scale, and into the good stuff. So let's have a look. It's cleaning up now. Yeah, face number 3. So that didn't quite clean up on the back face, so you can see in the centre there. So I'm just running the same. Well, I've put a 0.1 drop, did down 0.1, come back the other way. Got a much faster feed on now because it's not taking very much at all. Seems to cope with that all fairly good. So yeah, it machines nicely, this stuff. So black bar, I call this, with a mill scale on. Always seems to be a bit softer than bright mild steel. I know there is a, it is softer, well, I can't remember the figures, but it is slightly softer. It does machine more, let's say, a grey colour than the shinier surface that you can get with bright mild steel. Yeah, it is just that little bit softer, and it machines like to a grey finish, as opposed to, you know, you don't get it mega shiny, as it were. You can get a good surface finish, but it's not, it's duller looking. So yeah, mill scale on bar, I find, as far as cutters are concerned, carbide it doesn't bother too much, but if you try and do a scratch across it with high-speed steel, it does tend to dull a tool very quickly. That scale, it can have a, you know, a hardness to it that high-speed steel can't cope with. It tends to rub. So I'll let that run out and we'll do the 4th face. So I spent more time on this 3rd face than I have on the other 2. So yeah, that last cut did clean it up, but there was a lip on the back edge. Again, it's still wider than 50 mil this, but that problem's going to go away shortly, and this exercise is purely getting rid of the mill scale. So yeah, all good. That's cutting an absolute treat, that cutter on there. It's almost silent. Really nice. I know it was only taking about 2 thou, but yeah, really nice. So I've got a cutter that is just long enough. And this was rough sawn. It's actually quite good, quite square. So I've only touched off, done a 0.2, and it's nearly cleaned up already. That's another 0.1. And I think maybe a touch more, but I think this cut will do it. So the last cut I did was across the surface. I've not rotated it since. I just slid it along in the vise, moved the parallels along in the vise. Okay, so that's that end done. Let's take the cut off, stop the cutter. I'm going to spin the bar around 180 now. Just machine the other end. But yeah, 0.3 cleaned that up. So chamfering bit on there. Yeah, just putting a 45-degree chamfer down the edge, taking the sharp edges off. Once I've done that back face, I'll take a note of the readings, where I am on the DRO. I'll rotate the part 180 degrees, yeah, 180 in the vise, and then put the chamfer on the other side to the same settings. And then I'll do the two ends as well, just so we got chamfers all around what's going to be the top face. So one side done. Yeah, flicked it round to the other side. I've actually gone up its head, so I'll come down. The cut will be done by coming down. So yeah, I went up a mil from the finished cut, running that along. It's a bit heavy that, so it's jumping around a bit, but it can cope. But my subsequent cuts will be a bit lighter. Yeah, it doesn't mind it too much where it's over the vise. Or is that a coincidence? Don't know. Anyway, we'll see. And there was just a bit of mill scale left here. And my mill table's hitting the tripod. Let's come back a bit. Okay. Oh, dear me. My phone's vibrating in my pocket. There's all sorts going on. Oh dear me. So I've always found that this chamfer bit with a tip in it cuts better on a climb cut. So I'm just going to come down, I've left 0.25, so that's taken 3/4 of a mil deeper. Again, that's probably a bit deep, but it's a strong little thing. I'm not going to damage it. And you know what? Oh, dear goodness me, I've had to bend down on the floor, and it's in all the swarf. Me muffler's fell off again. Oh, it is an annoyance. You touch it, the slightest touch, and it comes off. So yeah, it is pretty frustrating. So if anyone from Road happens to be listening, which they won't, sort your act out, will you, with a, you know, you've got a dodgy muff, guys, and nobody likes a dodgy muff. So I've done the back and the front. I'm doing the end now, so I've left the height locked, and I'm working the part this way into the cutter, and this should just be a finishing pass. So I'll take this one gently to get a better finish. I'm going to file all these edges up afterwards, make them look sweet, but yeah, it's just doing that end, and then I'll go to the other end, and I'll do exactly the same process. I'm going to keep this head locked where it is in height, and then work the part into the cutter until my intersection of the chamfer, this sort of height, matches up with the intersection on the front. So I've stepped back there. Let's unlock my X. Let's just put fast feed. Let's go to the other end. I'll do exactly the same the other end, and that's the top sort of visible face. So check mic, yeah, mic's working. Right, I have found the middle this way. I scribed 2 lines up down here, set the centre drill in the middle of them. This isn't critical. The overall length is 300mm. I set 150 from one end with a rule on top, like so, and set the centre drill to, did I? Yeah, it looked a bit weird then. So to the centre point, so 0, 0's in the middle. So 150, I want to go 125 this way, and that will bring me a hole 25mm in from the end. So that's going to be both ends. So let's do that first. So I'm going to have 4 M16 holes. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4.9, 1, 2, 5. Okay, probably need to write this down somewhere. I can probably remember it. I'm struggling with my lock on the table. I want to lock the table. Right, okay, got it. So that is a hole in the middle, 25mm up. Hole number 1. So let's just lock my head again. Centre drill hole. Let me just double check, sanity check. 25, yeah. Between the lines, yeah. Centre drill. So hole number 1 is going to be by there. Nice big hole. So next one up, let's go. What size is the head on an M16 bolt? It's 21mm. So it's going to have to be at least 21mm centres, 40mm centres, and that will allow for a socket. So 125, so instead of 125 we want 85. You know what, I reckon I could go 90. I'm going to write these down. Yeah, that'll be 2 M16s, same the other end. Okay, so yeah, I am going to write these down. Let me get a little notebook. Notebook to hand. Next available page. Oh, it's got all sorts of scribblings going on. Let's have a look. Stick my little reminder thingy in there. So, oh, Sharpie. Right, 1, 2, 5, 90. I can't even write today, what's wrong with me? Okay, that's the M16. So there's going to be 2 that end and 2 that end. So I'll remember those figures. So let's put that centre drilled hole in. I'm going to do, I want to put 4 M10s in here. I think we'll go in the middle. So if I come to centre, let's go 20, 20, 20, 20, shall we? So what does 20 look like? 2020, 2020, M10's got a 13mm head. Let's do 4 on 25s, shall we? No. 20 will do. Gosh. Don't know what I'm thinking. That's 20. Let's come towards me, 20. Will that look right? Won't go that far. It's going to be 14. I'm going to just dimple that. Go 14 that way. There, let's go 14, 20 the other side. Probably gone way over the top here. It's just, this is eyeball stuff, guys, so. Who are they? Oh gosh, that's way too far. 14, 14. You know what, I think 4 on a 14, 14 will do. Let's do 14, 14. Gonna bang that one in. These are going to be M10. Right, 14 the other way. Could have been less than that. Not to worry. And then 14 the other way. We should be in a square. So this is the sort of planning stage, guys. And 14 this way. Which is there. Okay, so let's go back to centre and lock it. That's the 4 M10s. What are you doing, 8? That's the centre. So I want 2 M12s in here. Let's go. What would 30 look like? Maybe 35. Yeah, 35. And what else? Let's have a look. Somewhere. I'll probably do it. Somewhere around there. What's a round figure there? 65. $35.65. That'll do me. Okay, so plus 35 plus 65. Just working out as we go along. That's how it works, isn't it? So that's 35. 65. And then I want one at 90 and one at 125 for the M16s. So 90. Good. There. So all these are going to be M10, M12 and M16 tapped holes. And 125. And all I've done here, using the centre drill, is plot out what looks nice to get 4 of each in there. And we'll explain what it is when it's done. Happy days. So there we are, nice uniform pattern, equally spread across the top. Now we need to drill and tap some holes. Drills first, taps last, I think. What shall we do first? We'll do the 4 here and the 4 over there. I may have to... the M12s and M10s don't have to go all the way through. I'll probably drill the holes all the way through. Sorry, the M12s and M16s, I'll drill the holes all the way through. The M10s in the middle. You see, these two are going to be on top of the base. It is, I am like 3 or 4 mil clear of the base. I should have put some bigger parallels in before I started. I could still do that. So I've got that position located. I could loosen the vise off, put some bigger parallels in, basically plop it in the vise, drop the centre drill into the hole and just clamp it off. Would probably get away with that. So yeah, so slap some 10mm parallels either end underneath the ones I was using, raised it up, plonked it on, had the vise loose, dropped the centre drill into the hole, nip the vise up. Yeah, we're back on datum. So nothing's changed, and I now got some clearance under here so that these 2 holes can be drilled all the way through without fear of drilling into my, drilling into my vise. So I've got an 8.5mm drill up in the collet. Oh, let's get rid of these tools. I'm going to drill, so smallest holes in here are M10. So every hole, let's do it 8.5 first. Might get a little bit of MWF, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Let's be kind to the tool. Okay. So these M16s, I'm going to go right through. So that's the 65 datum for the first one. How far am I in? We're getting there. Have I got enough quill? Not sure what my quill length is. Sure, I've got 50mm plus on my quill. Let's bring that head down a touch. Let's try that. What speed are we running at? 1000 RPM. It's a cobalt drill. It's mild steel, it's pretty soft. That is not. What's going on here? Oh, okay. My quill stopped. Wind that up a bit. And we're through. Okay. Is that... Oh, I gotta take the head up a touch. Let's do it. Okay, well that's still that's missing. Might have to drop the quill stop down a bit. So this one is 65, yeah? No, 125 and 90. It's 90. So 90 is there. Get through the centre drill first. Bit of that. Drill hole. So yeah, you've seen 2 guys. I'm going to go back round the root and put this 8.5 through every one first. So I started all these tapped holes off in the mill while it was still bolted up, and just put the tap in the collet and wound them in, 2-3 turns just to get myself a nice straight start. So these are the 4 M10s in the middle. I've run the taper tap down. Yeah, it didn't quite go deep enough for my bolts, which are I think 25-30mm long. So just running the bottom in tap down just to straighten out the threads. And this is the 4th one. As you can see, I've got 3 bolts in there already. That'll be more than deep enough. So that's the fourth of the 10mm ones. Whoa. Okay, that's the 10mm. So done with those. That's the 12mm tap. And as you'll see, let me just go straight. So I started it, let's see, I'm not pushing. As you can see, I got a couple of turns just to get myself straight, which I did in the mill. So let's go get it going. And yeah, you've all seen holes tapped before, guys, but yeah, probably take me best part of half an hour to tap all these. I would have thought. I haven't got to the M16s yet. So I dropped the ball. When I knew I was going to make this, I grabbed all these bolts from work, and, you know, bag full as it were. And the bolts I thought were M16, oddly, are M14. So my 14mm hole, and I've just started a thread, but yeah, that's no good. Had I known that they were M14 bolts, I would have drilled them with a tapping drill for M14. But M16 tap, what have you, this is needed for tomorrow. So I'm really, you know, pushing the boundaries, because the steel I only managed to pick up late on Friday, and this is Saturday morning. I'm, you know, completing the job, ready for Sunday. Shops are going to be shut tomorrow. I'm going to be leaving the house at 5 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I'll explain a bit about that in a minute. But thankfully, good old screw fix, M16 by 60 bolts. So yeah, I was really lucky in that I managed to get hold of some M16 bolts just like that. I've got none here in the shed. I mean, you know, M16's huge for what I do in the shed. So anyway, yeah, carry on. Tap these last 4 M16. So, another day, another setup. So, I've mounted my vise. I've had to put it on some parallels because the part was touching on the bed and holding the angle off. Pushed it up against a parallel against my vice clamps. Now I know that that's square. These blocks are all equal thickness. The vice is clocked up. So when I put a parallel on that outside edge, they were all machined as a set. I know that is square. I've checked it and done this many times. So push the vice up here against that square edge. So that machined face on the compound angle is now touching against that edge. So I've got the centre drill here, and that is lined up central on the edge of the parallel there. So total slot depth 12.7mm, so I can go 6.35. So if I go up to my, oh, am I in the way of the camera? Okay, let's just set X and Y to 0. Right, so I'm going to come back halfway. Come on, 6.35, quarter inch ish. Does that look right? Let's have a look. Can't see over that side. Yes, okay. So I want to find the center point of this now in this plane, because I want the 3 screws. I'm going to put 3 screws in. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. It's not critical. If I come in and line up by eye, let's just come back. Okay, center point of that is over the edge. Let's set Y0 and then go back to the other side, and that is 0. Right, okay, so that distance there is 44.1mm. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the 0.1. Let's come back to 22, which which is there on my DRO, and I'm going to set the 0 in Y. Oh, right, okay. So that is center of the slot and center of the tool bit. So now I know I've got a center drill in here, but I'm all on the angles and what have you. So I think what I need to do is put a little milling cutter up in here just to start with, and just spot face my 3 dots. So that'll give me a nice flat surface as a datum. Okay, that's spot faced. Is that going to be enough? Probably. It'll be enough for me to get the center drill in and then pick up, kick the tripod and pick up on the drill. Right, so distance apart now, that's the center line. So conscious now, checking my mic all the time, making sure that things are moving. Right, okay. So next thing I want to do is, if I grab my existing cutter, I just need to measure what centers I've done there. Looks like 10 mil, to be honest. I think 10 mil should be absolutely fine. So I'm going to go forward and back 10 mil from there. Let's have a look. Now I'm on a, not even on the center of the part now, so I've got a more pronounced reason to need to spot face. So just going very gently with this. So you can't see the back one so well. When I do this forward one now, you'll see it better. Ooh, carefully. Okay, that's 2. Let's go 10 mil the other way. Okay. In fact, what I'll do, I think, is use my fine feed on my quill. I can be a lot more delicate. So yes, I know I should be in a collet with this. Not in the drill chuck, but for the size of cutter and what I'm doing, this is absolutely fine. It's not by the book. I will get haters for this. You shouldn't be putting a milling cutter in a chuck, in a drill chuck. Yes, yes. And generally speaking, I agree. So wait until I get the full pronounced circle of the bottom of the cutter. Okay. There we are, that's a little spot face that will allow me to pick up with a center drill. So let's just switch that off. Take the cutter out the way. Put my center drill back in. Okay. And that should allow me to pick up with the pilot of the drill. What I haven't done is check what size the pilot on that center drill is in relation to the tapping drill. So you'll notice that I'm going the other way on this one. I'm put 3 grub screws in from the other face, opposite way to how I did it on the Mark 1. So that's just starting to, you can see the centre drill just starting to pick up on that back face now, because I'm on the slope. Okay, that'll do for that one. Back to 0. You get the idea, guys. This one will be a lot easier to do because it's only on an angle the one way. Let's have that sped up a bit. Don't want to do anything too harsh on this, push too hard, because of I'm pushing sideways on that block in the vise effectively. Okay, I'll do the third hole and then we'll have a look, see if I need to spot face them any larger to get a flat surface for the tap to start in a straight hole, as it were. If I do, I may change to a collet and put a larger milling cutter in. We'll see. So I decided to put M6 grub screws in here. So I spotted the face of all 3 holes with a 6mm slot cutter. There we are. Let's just drill these out with a 5mm drill. So these screws are now going to be square to the tool. They may have to be different lengths, I might have to shorten some grub screws, but they're going to be square to the tool. And obviously M6, that's a 5mm drill. And with that spot face being 6mm, it will avoid the tap. And give me a chance of getting the tap in straight, because yeah, without that, the chances of getting that tap to start with it cutting one side first would be, or certainly to start square, would be slim. So my hand's in the way, you can't see. In fact, that doesn't feel right. I have to do it this way. I've got a better feel on my left hand. Okay. So yeah, first 3 or 4 turns done nice and straight to the plane, so it's going to be weird trying to tap in at a weird angle with the tap and trying to line myself up. So if I've got a good start, like I have now, then I'll be following the hole properly. So I just spun the vise around, or the rice bound? No, just spun the vise around. Got a clamp on the end here, just holding it on the bed. And first hole, just tapping it through with the M6 tap. I think we're getting there now. So I'm only taking a scratch over this piece of aluminium, but the first thing I can notice is that it's not as, because of that top rake, there's not so much impact with every cut. So the load has been reduced, which has got to help with a better surface finish. Obviously with a thicker shaft there's not going to be so much deflection in the body. So yeah, I mean, there's a few things. Let me just speed up. It's not cleaned up all the way across because I didn't tap it down, but okay, let's take a bigger cut. But I mean, straight away I can see that there's a lovely surface finish, but then I have just ground the tool. So let's just come back off the edge. Right, okay, let's go for 0.2 cut. I will squirt it with a bit of WD-40. Let me come around the camera. Oh. Okay, Oh, it's gone a bit milky, that. It's been in the shed here a long time. Speed up. So that's running at 967 RPM. Yeah, nowhere near as knocky. You know, those little impacts every time it hits have reduced significantly. Yeah. I think we're on a winner. You know, it just seems effortless now with the cut. Far less impact. Okay, well, first impressions. You know, you've got to try these things. I've been using that fly cutter forever and a day, and never really looked at it. Just, you know, hung the end up whenever I wanted to use it and cut with it. But this is certainly, it's got to be better. That's really nice. So I'm going to see when this is done, take it out and yeah, it's got there's no deflection in the tip. I'm liking it a lot. I can't really say much more than that. I think we have a new favourite fly cutter. Can you have a favourite fly cutter? Well, you can't when you've only got one. But when you've got two, you can have a favourite. And now I've got two, I do have a favourite. Just goes to show when I grind tips up on the other fly cutter, the original one, I will need to grind some top rake onto the tools when I'm using them. Says it all, really. So I'm going to stop that. Let's just come off the job. I'm going to pull that out of there, give it a wipe. So, the fly cutter, yeah, incredible. Really, really pleased with how that turned out. The metal block, as I said, I only got the metal on a Friday. It had to be ready to leave with me to go to, well, I'll tell you where I went. It was the Welsh Motorsport and Sports Car Festival at Pembrey, which is fairly local, about an hour away from me. I had to go with the firm and we were demonstrating some new impact wrenches, new product. No need for me to go into that. I'm not going to push work stuff, that's for sure. However, I needed this jig with the M16 12s and 10 bolts in to be able to test the torque wrench or the torque capabilities of these impact wrenches and demonstrate it to the public. So that's what that was for. Yeah, rush job. It was like on a Thursday. Can you make one of these for Sunday? It was like, well, I need some material. They're shipping round, shopping round. Material stockists aren't plentiful in my area, but I did manage to get a piece of steel by like lunchtime on Friday. Started making it Friday afternoon and then finished it Saturday morning, and there was a whole hoo-ha with the bolts. You'll see all that. Anyway, so that's what that was. So I've enjoyed, you know, I enjoyed doing little jobs like that. I've got the mill here, I've got the workshop, you know, it's making use of it and helping out, that sort of thing. So yeah, it was good to be able to help out as far as work, and I was the one having to demonstrate the use of these things anyway, so it was the ideal little jig. Right, so I haven't got a great deal more to say. Oh, let's have a little poll. So, the beard. Comments. If you want to comment, do you think it should stay or do you think it should go? My daughter absolutely hates it, which is hilarious. So hence why I'm keeping it on here, or have done for this amount of time. Wife's not fussed either way. She's not particularly fussed, but you know, it's my face. I can do what I want with it, as it were. But no, open to opinion, guys. Keep it on or get rid of it. Comment in the comments below. Anyway, with that said, thank you all over the years, now, present and past, for all of your comments, all of the views. I do read the comments. Sometimes it takes a while to respond, but I do read them all. And again, hit that subscribe button, guys, and if you're watching on a mobile, that boost I think it's called boost button, something like that. It's good for the channel and all the rest of it. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for listening to me drivel along, and we'll see you all very soon. Cheers now.